talking quarterbacks and why listen, I'm gonna let you guys know. This is why you would draft a quarterback at number 2 if you were in charge as well. We've talked about it before. Stefanski and Barry on the hot seat, number 1. Number 2, a quarterback gives you not only your fan base hope, but the roster and your veterans hope that things can get turned around quickly. And 3, we'll get into that right now. I think one of the things that is this is the most frustrating part about when you talk about what you should do and what you shouldn't do, is the fact that people naturally assume that you're going to have a high draft pick next year in order to get in position to draft a said quarterback. I think I threw a tweet up on Twitter and it kind of talked about that over the weekend. And, I just found people saying this stuff. And I said, well, maybe if I put them in the position that they had to make the decision, if they were Stefanski, if they were Barry, to imagine themselves, let me paint the picture. What you are saying is this. It's almost the equivalent of like saying, like, look, I know I need a car to go to work. I'm spending $50, $60, $70, $80, $90 on Ubers every single week. I'm doing the Uber thing. It's inconvenience. I got to wake up early. I'm spending a bunch of bread. And you're saying, well, look, I could go to the car lot and I could go get me a used car. But you get to the used car lot and you say, listen, man, I don't like the prices on this. Way too much mileage, and the price is not as good as it seems because of the mileage. I don't want one of these older cars. Well, that's the Cleveland Browns when we keep talking about the retreads. You know what they are. It's a lot of miles in their body in Kirk Cousins. You know what the upside is. You know that what they've gone through. You know they need repairs. You know all that good stuff. So yeah, you don't want to spend your good money with those guys, right? So that's one analogy, right? So you say, I don't want to go to the used car lot. I'm going to pass on that. That's fine. That's an option. So you still need to get to work. All right, well, let me go to the new dealership. You go, let me look at one of them 2025s. You get there, you're like, this is beautiful. And I love the way this thing rides. Dependable, smooth ride, like it got all the bells and whistles, but then he tell you how much it costs. What? I ain't paying no $1,100 in a car note a month. $1,100? That's way too steep for me. Too steep for me. Can't do it. It's too much draft capital for that. It's the Cleveland Browns. You got a number 2 pick. You got the money. You just don't want to spend it. You don't want to spend it. So, like, okay, yeah, number 2 picks don't come around all that often. You can't predict that you're going to go 3 and something. And even if you do go 3 and something, and even if you do are at a place where you do get the second overall pick, how many coaching regimes and front offices are there to survive a 3-win season? Not very often. Generally speaking, you're the Washington Commanders. You won 4 games. Y'all getting fired, and we're going to bring in somebody else to take the quarterback, right? So now the Cleveland Browns are in a very unique position where you're Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. You slid. You survived. You did the impossible in a season where you got the second overall pick. Now you're sitting there. What are you going to do? Well, you could say, I'm going to trade down and try to get some other picks or do something and not take the quarterback. But the cause of why you guys are very bad is what you've been telling me all season. You guys told me all year when Deshaun Watson was quarterback, all we heard was the quarterback is trash. We heard it for 6 months. Now you have an opportunity to do something about the quarterback position, and all of a sudden you want to tout all the other holes that you got. Either you still want to ride the Uber, or you want to go to a used car, or you want to get a new car. Either way, you need a car. And that's the way I look at it with the Cleveland Browns. Either way, y'all need a quarterback. Y'all need 3 new quarterbacks to fill that room, whether it's a veteran, whether it's a retread guy, whether it's a top pick, whether it's another dude in the second round, you need 3 new quarterbacks. And us sitting here talking about why, well, that's expensive. This guy isn't that. Well, man, that guy is older and he's not as good. Like, listen, the deal is Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry got to go to work. They need to get a car. They better get a car. Because if you end up keep getting late to work because your Uber driver was late or the public transportation ain't working, your boss ain't going to deal with that. Well, how long you going to keep telling your boss I was late because I was riding a bus? Well, listen, we pay you some money. So here's what we suggest you do. Go get a car and show up on time. Cleveland Browns, you need a quarterback. We've been telling you the quarterback play has been trash from get-go. We've been talking about it for years and years and years now. Last year was one of the reasons why you were where you were. It was the quarterback play. You've told us that. Do they need other things? Yes. But there is under no circumstances can you yell, jump, scream, roll around, and be mad all year because you don't have a quarterback, but then get to a point and you don't want to look at any quarterbacks. You don't want to look at old ones. You don't want to look at new ones. You don't want to look at mid-round picks. You don't want to do any of it. You want to draft a left tackle and stay around and think that somebody's going to keep you employed. It's not going to happen. I'm just telling you that. Just letting you know. And by the way, I've said this as well. Even if you did have a great first, even if they did lose this year, like say the Browns had a top 5 pick next year, Stefanski and Berry are automatically gone, right? Dead. They're dead in the water. They're gone. But even if these said quarterbacks like Arch Manning and the rest of them are studs, how often do you trade studs? How often is the number 1 consensus overall pick at quarterback traded when there's a guy at the front of the draft? And don't give me this. Well, the team that usually drafts first doesn't necessarily have to have a quarterback problem. Oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah. There's a very big probability that when you are that bad, you have a quarterback problem. It's very rare where you have, and the thing is, it might not be a quarterback problem. It could be your quarterback got injured, and that's why you guys suck. But generally speaking, if you're drafted at the top of the draft, you don't have a quarterback. Hence the case that you have the Tennessee Titans and the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants hanging around, and the Raiders. Come on. So for me, I think these are very valid reasons. If you were in a position of Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, you guys would take a quarterback, and it just would be obvious because you would know the writing is on the wall. I would love to have the luxury of drafting some left tackles and defensive tackles and working out the roster and taking a long approach. But we don't have a long approach, to be honest with you. There is no long approach. You got 6 to 8 months to prove what you're going to do and how you're going to get it done. And for them, I think at this point, that's going to drive their decisions, along with the fact that they want to turn the page at quarterback, and they have to understand that Kevin Stefanski, who has not had an opportunity to draft his quarterback, I don't want to hear that if he doesn't draft this one, because he may not ever get that chance.